Hello, everybody. I'm just showing my face so that you know what I look like right now. Well, goodness me, now that we've got that out of the way, I'm just going to explain what I'm doing. I thought it was a pretty beautiful day, so I decided to film this outside, but I've been struggling with motivation to do any personal projects recently, any of my hobbies. I'm not feeling depressed, I don't know. I just don't have too much motivation to do the things I usually do. I'm feeling a bit anxious recently, but in terms of creative pursuits, I'm not too motivated right now. So I thought we can look back at some of my old sketchbooks. And I think if I record this video and document my sketchbooks, I can get rid of these too. So let's just begin. First sketchbook I ever did, I started drawing properly. Like I've obviously all like children draw. I started drawing and trying to learn how to draw in an artistic sense when I was 16 and very depressed, and I needed something to do. So that's what this is. This is the first product of that, I believe. I think I have some loose stuff I might show later, but I'm going to start with this because this was my first sketchbook. So the first thing I wanted to learn how to do is faces, because my kind of goal at the beginning was to be able to express myself and my feelings and emotions, just because I was extremely depressed at the time. And so I just started to try and learn how to draw people. Pretty much all of the tutorials online, because I was following like art and drawing tutorials. Pretty much all of them show how to draw women. Yeah, so you'll see that I try and learn how to draw people at first, and I really struggle to draw masculine form. So this is the first one, very long nose, proportions are a bit off, but I don't actually want to talk too much about the drawings because I will be here for literally hours and hours and hours and hours, and I just want to look back and share my drawings. I think that's Joe, some dogs here. I remember copying, but I distinctly remember trying to, I know like drawing an eye is a really generic thing, but I think I was very proud of what I was doing. And I was trying to draw body parts and do realism separately and bring them together. Got a little clown. A lot of these designs I didn't make up myself. I saw them and I was just trying to copy them to try and build up some basic skills. And that's okay to do. That's good to do. You can completely copy art as long as you recognize that, yeah, I did copy this. It's not my own design, but it is my own version of the design, and I drew it myself, and I was doing it to learn. Again, so this is the first masculine form I tried, and you can see that I just tried to do the opposite of all the feminine forms, but then I also kept a lot of things feminine, like the eyes and the eyebrows and the brow itself, but then I gave like the cranium really square and sharp and wide, and look at this straight collarbone. That always made me laugh. Like before Christmas stuff. This is nice. Some color. It's one of my first color bits. I didn't use color for a very long time regularly. Some mouth, some crop stuff. A little donkey. This is me trying to learn proportions. Looks like an Attack on Titan guy. Oh, no, the eyes are good, but this is Thug Bob. And I showed people this in my sixth form, and they were like, whoa, this is actually really cool. It's Thug Bob. It was just funny. So this is inspired by Frampt from Demon Souls. His name's Simon. He's got a long neck. This is Joe, who was a kid who bullied me, and then I made fun of him, and he got depressed, so he stopped physically bullying me, and I was just really annoying towards him, so I upset him, but I found it funny because he used to really hurt me. But yeah, I really like Joe. I really like his humor a lot now, and I'm really glad I tried to be friends with him. Respect for Joe. He's a great cook, and he does really, really fun, quirky animations. I really like them. So this is like a DeviantArt thing with the Dark Souls. I was getting into Dark Souls at the time also. Now this, excuse the fan and the background noise, we are filming outside today, of course. But this was something I was really proud of. A hand, and I really liked this. I drew a hand, I thought it was really good. right, based off my own. And then I pointed out all the bits that I thought were wrong. And then I drew a way better hand. Now this is certainly, it's not, like, it has its own style, but at this time I was really just trying to either copy stuff online or try and do realism and graphite. This is my friend Krutty. I really like this one. Another hand. Another Simon lookalike, trying to do another masculine form. I'm going to start going faster, by the way. Dark Souls. Ramped, really like this one. Now this is one that took me several hours. It was my first piece where I worked on it for like maybe more than an hour. And I really love all the detailing I did. Like, I really love the shading. I had a reference image, but I'm so proud of this, and I'm still really proud of this. Great job. I really love that one. Silent Demon. And I was just trying to really rack my brains and draw things that I liked. It was beginning of 2018 now, I suppose, so I was almost 17. Yugan and Knuckles was the thing. And then I was copying the Tim Burton Pokemon designs, and I really liked them. And I think I really matched my graphite use I had at the time with the strong outlines and stuff. It actually worked really well, and I like this design too, although I did not come up with it. Yeah, and I think this was the first time I actually used some color, and I was proud of it, and I used it subtly. We'll see that soon. This is the first time I felt upset about something with two of my friends. This was the first time that I tried to draw something to express my emotions, and it's very, very rudimentary, although I do like, and it's really basic too, it's like a Facebook post, like a deep Facebook post. Ooh. I do like how I drew myself there. And notice I did not try realism. Yeah, so this is where I started adding subtle color, and I actually really liked it. The faint yellow, and then the more vivid green and yellow there. Again, really faintly drawn. I had really bad color pencils, but I wanted it to be faint because it matches this Tim Burton kind of desaturated look. We got Zubat, Golbat, Paris, Pidgey. Again, not my designs, my implementation. I really like these ones too, the kind of skinny, lanky, sharp ones. I think I did really good on the legs here, and giving them some waver so they're not so mechanical. Coming to the end of my first sketchbook here. Try to, because I know I was just copying designs, so I tried to draw designs, not of Pokemon, but of my classmates. The guy I drew, I think he was Filipino. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But I gave him a really long torso, so I don't know what that means, but I think I did the eyes kind of nice. I did this one too. Now this is where we get to the good stuff. First of all, Mike Wazowski. I was feeling really proud of this one. I felt very proud of the shading I did on this Shrek. Look at that soft shading there. It's beautiful. You see Shrek as a recurring theme. I drew this, which was my profile picture for a while. Again, not my original design, but I like this. I did change the design a bit from the original image. And then we have Pink Guy, and to finish off, I drew my two best friends at the time, Bethan and Kurti again. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Well, that's the end of my first sketchbook. Let's move on. Okay, now this one's epic. Now, you may know, if you know me, I love Bleach. I've not made any YouTube videos about Bleach yet, but I do plan on making some just because I love it a lot. And in recent years, as I've been rewatching it, I've realized it has had a big artistic inspiration to me. And in this sketchbook, I tried to draw some pictures of Ichigo from Bleach, the main character, and his different forms. To start off, we have this in his human form. Let me geek out a little bit. I did not do like a sketch, an undersketch to like get the proportions right. So you'll see his head is supremely squished at the top there. And I was doing this shading technique where I was trying to assign, instead of doing gradients, I was doing like cell shading, which I thought matched the more cartoony design. And then we have his Soul Reaper form, unreleased Sampak Toe State with the belt from the original arc. I really, really like this one. I think it's good. I think I did it really cleanly. and I like the belt. I think it's clear the way the shading worked. And I think I worked really hard to make the. I was really I'm still not great at drawing like buildings, skyscraper. I just find it hard to do like the boxes. So the hilt was a bit difficult to make everything so geometric. This one I don't like as much. It's too long. His arms are way too thin. I think I did decent on the blade, but it doesn't really look much like Ichigo. This is Shikai form. Holy moly, guy. Do you see that airplane? Look at that airplane. This is the nature of filming outside. I have a Ichigo's Bankai form, which I really like. I chose to do it in landscape, and because his form is more dark, it was interesting because even though his cloak was black, I had to choose bits to shade. I think this one, more mood to it, which I like, even though it's simple with the backgrounds. This one, I remember really liking Ichigo's partial holification takeover thing at the time. And I think I did a really good job with showing like his face and then the extra mass on top of it of the mask, but overall I don't think it looks too great right now. It's really confusing around where the nose is. It's not very clear. Yeah, it's his final design with the two lines, which I really like the design, but I think the chin's too long, and on this one it's just not too interesting. And then his Vaster Lorde takeover again, where he fights Ukiura, one of my favorite moments in media in general. It's pretty it's pretty good, but this should be way more darker, and I feel like this is half done. The hair is really loose and scratchy. Definitely could be way better, but I still think this is okay. I was very proud of this one. This is his from the movie Hellverse, his form where he absorbs one of the I'm forgetting all my words today. When he absorbs one of the Guardians of Hell and he gets this cool form. I remember drawing this in the sixth form common room and people were like, "Oh, look what you're drawing!" And yeah, I'm drawing it. Guy with a nice physique, and I think I did a really good job here with the hand and stuff like that. So like the layering and showing the armor and the segmentation, I thought I did a really good job here, and I really like the straight black line I did with the sword. So like that. This not so great, pretty plain. I didn't really add too much bits to hook your eye on, and the face is just kind of blacked out. I think this is way better. Yeah, I was going to be commissioned to do some drawings for a picture book, and they never got back to me. This is my Bullet Ball comic, my first comic I've ever done. Bullet Ball. But no one has given up as much as Mark Griffin. And how are y'all doing today? I'm excited. This is my dream come true. I really like this panel. And then he just sweats with his large forehead. It's only 2 pages long. I like the clap I did at the top there. Then there's just a lot of text. I love games. This is pretty good, to be honest. I'm glad I did this. I got some oil pastel at the back here, which looks like a Tide Pod. Dark Souls 2 character, and Snake from Metal Gear Solid 5. Punished Venom Snake. And I think that's all I have. There's a lot of blank pages in this one. So let's move on to the next. Oh! Okay, this next one was when I was more trying to, instead of looking at art tutorials, I was trying to copy things myself. So drawing probably more Dark Souls designs and video game stuff. The early days of when I had my PS4, so I was enjoying a lot of games at the time. I think I took a break from art because I remember taking a break for a bit and then drawing this in around April, maybe May, so when I was 17. So we got some hair, just trying to learn some random stuff. My phone is recognizing the faces, which is nice. See, I'm trying to like learn instead of just make head-on feminine form and stuff like that. I think I was playing Deus Ex at the time also. So there's that. There's the eye monster. I was also looking at some fashion and character design things. So, I like this guy. I like this guy, his face. Trying to learn different body types and stuff. I drew Adolf Hitler. I do have a story about Adolf Hitler and how I think a MS Paint drawing I did of him got me into art school, which is very funny. But I'm just gonna tell that story another time, I think. I wrote down next to Hitler, keep in mind I was 17, blonde, paint, parents' early death, dad, and PP no small. Yeah, I don't know why I drew him. But I also drew the Cesari from Mass Effect because I was really big into Mass Effect. I drew this with a tiny hand. Oh, something's coming up. Angry Bird. Brain turning into roots. You know, the deviant art, like the deep art posts like this, you know. Anyway, I use the word deep very mockingly because often it's used for things that are just kind of common thoughts or just slightly emotive or metaphorical, and it's like, oh, it's so deep. I think this was the original design here. And then I did a Hobbit home. I did my first full color piece, and it took me absolutely ages. I was very, very, very gentle with color, and my color pencils were very difficult to get any saturation with at the time. Tried to do a building, like I said before, I struggled with that, and then cutting bits out so I could keep the perspective and shading and stuff like that. Kind of reminds me of the ocean area in near Automata now. This is my other friend Morgan. Now, I don't know why I kept on drawing my friends naked, but this is what I did, and I only did it with my male friends, despite the fact that I had more female friends, I think. But yeah, I would draw my male friends naked, probably because, I don't know, men tend to be naked more. So this is some more trying. This hand is incredible, I have to say that. And I was trying to do some poses too, because I was thinking, hey, maybe I might try and get into art school someday, so maybe it'll be good to learn how to draw things that look impressive. This is a friend of mine, and I thought she was really cool, and I wanted to draw this, and I remember spending ages drawing this, but if I remember right, they liked it, so time spent well. And I think I was proud of that, and the fact that I didn't just do I didn't add tilt, I think was a nice touch for my composition. This is another classic one. Know You, SpongeBob Police Officer. The Last Giant. Here comes the Dark Souls stuff. And I used to know all these names so well. The Abyss guy, really good boss fight. This is a good one of Solaire right here. Again, copied. It's an orc sketch. I think I did the colors really well here. This is the Demon of Song with Homing Soul Mass, I believe. And it's got Pepe the Frog inside of him. This is the Pursuer. I think I did well. And this smudging, the eye glare. Also really big into The Witcher, so I drew a Drowner. It was kind of hard for me to find cool designs to draw from The Witcher. This was the armor set that I was using in Dark Souls 2 at the time, the Smelter Demon armor. Made a ghoul from The Witcher. Oh, also love Lisa, still love Lisa. One of my favorite games ever. So they use sprite work, but I did like a rounded version of them, which I think I saw something like that online, so I probably copied it. Witcher again, and the Faram set from Dark Souls 2. I remember working on this in January of the next year, so I think there's a big gap here where I stopped here, and then I came back like 8 months later when I was starting to go to art school, which we'll get to my art school sketchbook soon. But we're going to pick up the pace here. There's some sword designs here. I remember somebody who was like, you're drawing swords in class. Yeah. Fallout 4 helmet. Really proud of this one. It's one of the Raider helmets. Really cool, I think. Some PewDiePie versus T-Series stuff. Those were the days, weren't they? Holy Spirit. This is my friend Amelia, one of my best friends. Very memey person. We got Despacito. We got Peter Griffin on Garfield's body. We have Simon, who likes to snip and is afraid of nuts. He always talks about studio fees. He eats yogurt and raw oats. And he took me to a back alley to a pub in a town in North Wales, where I wasn't really informed of what we were doing or what the plan was. He didn't do anything bad to me, but he was a very creepy teacher in many ways. Sorry if you're listening, Simon. You just came across weird. I don't think you're actually a weird person. You just made me uncomfortable a little bit, but you were still cool and supportive, aside from that one time. But don't worry about it. This is Donkey. Donkey. I like video game Donkey. We got The Boys, another meme. the time, which was really funny. I really liked it. I liked the designs. We got Donkey Kong, Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Ultimate was a big bonding thing at the time for me also with my friend group during art school. We got some funny drawings. Don't know if I drew all of these. I think someone else was drawing with me too. Some abstract stuff. I actually quite like that right now. Yeah, I didn't draw all this or this. I think this was Evie. So those are nice. That is clearly Gordon Ramsay. This is a swan. And this is a vegan Greg sausage roll review, and it's made to look like a mannequin or the body of a woman. Amelia wrote a lot of these, and I think she might have sketched this too. I don't know if this was mine. I think this was hers. So that's why it has this stuff on it. That's not me. But come on, $1.05. I missed the Greg vegan sausage rolls. And then we have a little compilation here of some of my TF2 characters and their outfits and some other weird characters or something. We got my Spy, we got my Scout, my favorite, and Pyro, as well as one of the Tap brothers. From Hollow Knight. See, sketchbooks are personal. I'm revealing all these things. This was a design I wanted Amelia to make for me. Symbolic. I don't think she ever got around to it, but that's okay. Some trusses. Tomb. I think this wasn't me. I think that was actually my brother's sketches there. Okay, that's it. So that was kind of at the beginning of that sketchbook. I wasn't going to art school, and at the end of that sketchbook, it was during art school. And again, side, look at that. Okay, so now we're going to transition to the books I made while I was in art school. And when I say art school, I wasn't actually in art school in Wales. I was in a college and I was doing photography and fine arts and geography and Welsh baccalaureate. So half of my classes were art related, and if I had taken one more art related course, I think they would have said like, oh, you're taking 3 out of 4 courses that are art related, you should go to a specific art school. But I didn't want to do that at the time, so I just did 2, and it worked out that way. So I have 2 books here. These are from my fine arts class, because the other one was photography, and I did some drawing there, but I don't really want to show off my photography in this video. This was like my just feeling things out, seeing what I can do, and doing some tests and some still lifes and stuff. And then this was my actual project, which the end result I wasn't very happy with, but I like some of my progress here. So this was me really beginning art, like before I would do sketches, but I didn't really have any art friends, and I had taken a big step of going away from going on the route to being a civil engineer to being an artist, and I'm very, very happy I made that choice. But now, many years later, I just have a lot of art supplies and a lot of sketchbooks, and I want to clear some space. So at the beginning here, we have still life. Yeah, basically focusing on the skull, and we're doing some stuff like scanning and then reprinting and then doing different reworks of it. Did a shell, destroying objects, my cactus at the time. And a different one now. I remember liking this one because I was like, oh, I think at the time what I was really interested in was drawing stuff where the properties of the object or the material were communicated, inherent in the mark making. So having this, depending on like how you flick it and how lively it is and how it spreads out, if it's magical or spurting outwards, or if it's cracking or stuff like that, the properties, if it flows, if it's hard, stuff, that's what I was interested in. So that's what I was doing like here, so like dripping and stuff like this. I tried charcoal at the time, could not work with charcoal. A few years later, I would kind of get it, but at the time, I couldn't do it. It was just messy. So I stuck with biro, like graphite, and ink. So this is me like photocopying, printing out, and then changing stuff. Got some fleshy bits, got some watercolor, different designs. This is my first acrylic painting. I think this is one of my first paintings ever. And it's of lips, of course. I've got to add the teeth. This looks like a Leonardo da Vinci, Oh, and this is cool. So this is always stuck together. doing some artist research. Now, this is almost impossible to read because I did it on black and white checkers, but I printed it on, what's this called, Lycra, so see-through. What I found out, I was not very good at writing. I was not very good in English class, but when I was writing and making essays about art, I was really good, and I was the best in my class, so I did a lot of writing. Anthony Gormley, one of my favorite artists. So my three artists, this is about MC Escher, I believe, but I dropped him. I've always admired MC Escher. I would say he's one of the people who got me into drawing and sketching. Anthony Gormley does wonderful sculptures, and then Bloodborne. And I hadn't played Bloodborne at the time. I was playing Dark Souls 2, but I just loved the aesthetic of Bloodborne, and so I researched it, not as like a game I like, but as a game I've not played, and just I like the aesthetics and the designs, so, and the themes of it. So I wrote a lot about that. And this is kind of cool, trying different materials: watercolor pencil, acrylic with undercover paint, fine liner, color pencil, felt tip, graphite, biro pen. So that's kind of cool. Watercolor, graphite, mix. And then this was me mixing all my artists together. So the Bloodborne red, the MC Escher like hand and the orb, and then the Anthony Gormley reflection of the blocky form. And then I really like this. This is it. This is MC Escher. This is Anthony Gormley, Angel of the North, which I've seen. Bloodborne main character in the front, and then using watercolor and graphite and fine liner for all these Bloodborne designs. I was really proud of this at the time. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. Yeah. And then I set on my second sketchbook to try and get to my final piece. As you can tell, the sun is starting to run out a little bit, so I'm gonna move up. I might have to do some more filming another day, but it's been fun. Let's try and get through at least this one so we can finish my time in Wales doing art class and stuff. So I decided at the beginning, forget about this. I don't want to talk about this. This is something else right now. I decided to get rid of MC Escher and get Sean Cos, who does the phobias and mental health conditions. And, I still respect his work quite a lot. And, I really liked it at the time. But I do kind of see it as, his designs are cool, but they're a bit generic. And I think I like them. Definitely from being a fan of Tim Burton and Bloodborne, I definitely had a more creepy horror-esque aesthetic that I was aspiring towards at the time. There's me. My face is a little funny here, but that's me. And then me just prepping and warming up, and Bones. I guess Bones, trying some watercolor. This is when I started to use India ink, and I was trying to perfect this. So another contextual review, an artist analysis, and then I start using ink more here. And I was really trying to strive for contrast. I love two things in art, above all else: contrast and texture. Obviously design, but that's something outside. In terms of qualities, contrast and texture is what really draws me to stuff. So we did photo shoots too. And I did stuff like this. This is a bit too edgy. This is very edgy. This is like an emo band. I do like this one quite a lot, though. I like that. Trying to play around with where to put the visual weight with the India ink. So here, not much visual weight. Here, making it clearer, and then putting it on his lips and eyes helps a lot. This one, I actually messed up the face, so I cut out paper and then glued it on top to make a mask. And I think I was kind of getting a good style here. The sun is running out. These are copies of Sean Cos's work here, but I think I was doing well. India ink can be super messy to work with, especially while diluting. And using pen on top, I was using pen on top that was water soluble, so it was spreading and stuff. And we have another military airplane right above us. So I tried to do a psychosis thing, and it really messed up just because I diluted too much and used the wrong pen. then I was like researching mental health condition and stuff, and trying to do designs and text in the background, and that looks really bad, but that's fine. And then I made this one up, which I think is at least decent for the time. I was really proud of the hands. Look at those hands. That's pretty good. I think I really like the three-tone. I actually really like the three-tone, like myself right now. I think that looks really good, actually, the hands. And then I actually bought this a print of this one here and hung it up on my wall, and people were like, whoa, what? But it's fine. Now, I really like how well I did with the autonomy and the proportions on these. And I thought I was really getting somewhere with this type of style. And then, so basically each photo shoot was connected to an artist. So that photo shoot, I start with the photo shoot, and then I help and use the poses. Like, if you see, like this one here, same pose. You see? So that's kind of cool. Show development. But this next one's for Anthony Gormley. So I was trying to use more geometric stuff and maybe more simple designs, you know? Some cubes. Gotta play with Lego. I mean, not Lego, blocks. So kind of... This was really bad. I did not know what I was doing in this one, but it's okay. It's a photocopy scan out of blocks that I stacked up. And then the third one, Bloodborne, where I did a big old analysis of the moon and the beasts versus the aliens, and how, you know, the bodies are changed and transformed depending on the ideology of the person or what they were reaching for. And so I got a lot of screenshots and stuff, and did research and wrote about characters and landscapes, and I did like a photo shoot in a church graveyard. Acrylic painting here of where you fight Gammon, spoiler alert. And then this is what I kind of ended up doing for my final thing. I basically just dropped all of my cool stuff and I'm gonna do a Bloodborne thing and use what I've learned about poses along the way. I'm gonna do a nighttime scene, and basically I just did a whole thing about the moon phases with Bloodborne as my final piece. So I wasn't too proud of my final piece, but I am proud of my posing, because I ran out of people who were willing to do my photo shoot. Also in class, and nobody wanted me to be their subject for the photo shoot, which made me sad. And yeah, so I was doing the kin, the hunters, the beasts, so like the factions here: beasts, hunters, Yarnamites, kin, and trying to do my own designs. I really like the Garden of Eyes design, and I was trying to do a different one, but I think I ended up just kind of doing a very similar one. And I was using watercoloring, and I was using it really dilutedness, so I just went over the same thing a dozen times, and it didn't really work. And I had this idea with like faceless. The Yarnamites are faceless; they're just drones, and then the beasts are mindless, and then the kin are heartless. And I feel like that's kind of cool, and I kind of think I had a good design here with the wings and like the aura of blood coming off of them. But I think I didn't really, I did not tie in this idea of faceless, heartless, mindless. Maybe I can find a picture of the final piece, but I was not very happy with it. I was happy to be done, but I think my best work was really like this design. My writing, I thought was really good. My photo shoots, and then like these two, like these ones here. You know, I thought these were my best things. So that was my first year of doing fine arts in college, and the sketching and yeah, stuff I did before to gear myself up for going to college, because I didn't have the qualifications to actually be accepted into college, and so I had to show off my sketchbooks and stuff, which I had been practicing for almost exactly a year before I submitted to go into fine arts in college, and I managed to get in, partially because of a drawing I did of Adolf Hitler on MS Paint, because my friend told me to do it. It wasn't even my idea. and I accidentally saved my camera roll, and well, I'm basically already getting into the story. But that's the first section of my sketchbooks, and I think, as you can see, I'm losing light here. Another military aircraft flying above me, so I think I'm going to leave it here for today, even though it's a beautiful day. I feel like the shadows are getting a bit too long, so when I'm showing stuff, um, the shadows kind of, it's not the best. So I'll catch you on another day, but thanks for looking at my preschooling artwork and my first year of fine arts in college. So thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully I can record, and I will be releasing part 2 soon after, where I'm going to show my drawings that I made in preparation for going to like proper art school. So between moving to Canada and actually getting accepted into art school, and then I probably might show my sketchbooks stuff that I made from art school also. So there might be 1 or 2 more parts to this, but thank you for joining me for this one. I love you very much. Thank you for watching the video and caring about my art pieces, and I hope that you've had a nice time. God bless you. And if you feel motivated, unmotivated, or you're struggling to feel passionate about anything at the time, it's okay. Things come and go. There's seasons. Things come and go in seasons, and it's okay to have periods of time when you're unmotivated or disinterested in your hobbies. Sometimes that is a sign of depression, or it can lead to kind of feeling down. So instead, do things that you find fun. I know it's hard, like if you're not motivated to find enjoyment or passion in your hobbies, still maybe just maybe get back into reading, or watch a comfort TV show, or talk with your friends, or something like that. Or just be content with having some rest days, or organizing, like what I'm doing, like trying to throw out my stuff. I don't know how great of advice that is, but I think that's at least something, and I'm trying to do something of that now, and I think it's working. So thank you very much for joining me, and bye-bye.